proceedings underway. The 5-second board is out. The race pass 750 Formula Championship is almost ready to go. Eyes on the lights. They go red. And they go out now, and we're racing. It's a fantastic launch off the line then from Bill Cowley as he looks to try and make his way through. Not the greatest start in the world though for the number 4 Mark Glover as he has to go onto the pit lane extra, but he makes up for it and he moves himself now up into 3rd place as they make their way now through in towards Coppice.
Okay, let's see who comes out on top then. Is it Peter Bove? Yeah, he leads. Cowley is 2nd. 3rd is Glover, so it's Bartholomew who's dropped to 4th, and Richard Jenkins is in 5th. David Bartholomew making up for his bad start. He has good straight line speed in that car and he's drawing up alongside Mark Glover. He's on the inside line and should grab 3rd position then away from Mark Glover at Park Corner. But for the lead of the race, it is Peter Bove with Bill Cowley right underneath the rear wing of the leading car as they come through the gooseneck for the first time. Can Cowley get through? He knows how quick Bartholomew is, who's trying to chase after them now that he's back into 3rd spot. But Peter Bove is hanging on, looking for that first win this season is Peter Bove, but now Cowley is alongside. It's side by side for the lead, Kieran.
Side by side for the lead then, and Cowley has the inside line as we make our way in towards the mountain we go, and Cowley does take over the race lead then ahead of Peter Bove. And for now then, Peter Bove might have to put a pin in those plans to see if he could get a first race win. He now is under pressure now from David Bartholomew as we head our way in towards the last parts of the circuit, through towards the Hall Bends before they'll tackle the hairpin and then make their way through in towards Barn Corner. But Bill Cowley from 3rd on the grid makes his way back up to the top spot, and here he emerges out of Barn. Onwards then he will go towards the start finish line to lead a lap here at Cadwell Park. It's then the number 1 car, Peter Bove, who is at 2nd place at the moment. David Bartholomew really closing right up, getting up close and personal with Peter Bove's rear wing as they headed through Coppice.
So that great move of Bill Cowley, and now he's pulling clear of the battle for 2nd position between Peter Bove and David Bartholomew. They better on their way down the park straight. Is Bartholomew going to attack into Park? Both the best to the inside, but that straight line speed in the DRS is phenomenal, and he manages to move ahead of Peter Bove. I think there's been a big accident behind, I'm afraid. Number 28 is involved in that, which is Alan Bunter, I think, sparred, and he's come back across the track and hit, I think, Matthew Unwin's car. The side of that car is destroyed, I'm afraid. So we're going to have yellow flags down here at Charlie's Corner. I think both drivers fairly okay with a bit of luck, but I'm sure we're going to get interruption, I would imagine, to that. Getting out of the car now is Alan Bunter, so a really unfortunate incident. Yeah, both drivers now getting out of their cars, which is good to see after a very large but unfortunate accident.
Yeah, safety car deployed then as the safety car makes its way onto the circuit. So the race comes to a little bit of a halt at the moment, but it's Bill Cowley who was leading the way. Peter Bove was 2nd at the line, David Bartholomew 3rd, so the safety car now waiting just at the start finish line, pit lane exit, waiting to pick up the drivers as they'll make their way across the line. But the race at the moment under these safety car conditions, this full course yellow condition, and we'll see then Bill Cowley, there he is, make his way out of Barn Corner, and it's David Bartholomew who's actually now into 2nd place and ahead now of Peter Bove as they will cross the line, and that's going to allow Mark Glover to have a little bit of a system reset as well, see if he can get his way past Peter Bove for position. That would be a great asset if he was able to do that, Mark Glover, and that would certainly help his championship hopes in this part of the season then. But yeah, under this subdued pace then, Bill Cowley leads the way ahead of David Bartholomew and Peter Bove rounding out the top 3.
Good to see both drivers out of their cars. Over here they managed to walk away unaided, so that is good news for both.
Red flag there, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, red flag.
So yeah, I think because this is going to take a little while to clear up, the rescue crew just checking the drivers is out, but I think that's okay. Now their concern is to these 2 damaged cars, which may take a little while to sort out, but the best news is that both drivers, Alan Bunter and Matthew Unwin, okay. but a small delay therefore is necessary, and then the first race was interrupted by a safety car. The second race now interrupted not just by a safety car but by a red flag, so that's really unfortunate. It was an unfortunate incident, just one of those things really, and it's the first sort of sizable accident we've had here on the exit of Charlie's over the course of the weekend. And here with the 750 Motor Club, the rescue unit crew also helping the marshals with recoveries, so they're just checking out the car of Matthew Unwin, because it's been hit pretty heavily on the side of the car where I think the radiator is, so they'll be checking to make sure there's nothing nasty leaking out of that car before flatbed trucks and such like come to deal with the incident. There's now bits of car being picked up from the grass as well, so there's unfortunately a lot of damage there being taken in that incident.
Yeah, so maybe a bit of a recovery job to do, and probably the reason why the red flag has been thrown, so not too much time is eaten out of the race time. And once we get more news about the restart and hopefully the allotted time, we'll be back with you, myself and Joshua Barrett, taking you through the last couple of races of the day. And obviously behind the safety car, they had that subdued pace already, so just like we've seen in previous races, the red flag means that drivers will stop single file on at the start of the back end of the grid, if you like, ready to be tallied up and put into their correct spot for what we hope is for the eventual restart. Eyes on the lights, there was a bit of a jump there, but we get underway. There was a bit of a jump there from the number 9 of Richard Jenkins, who gives a stern finger as he drives away, but he's being swallowed up by the pack. Then there's a bit of contact further back as well, as I think that involved Chris Goff there as he was making his way through. A bit of body to body there, as there was a bit of smoke between the contact patches, but we make our way through.
And Peter Bove has got the lead away from Bill Cowley, so Cowley hasn't made the kind of start he made earlier. He's going to have to try and find the right path, but he's getting right now. He's apart the top 2 cars, and now he darts left to the outside of the park corner. David Bartholomew there as well. The top 3 absolutely tied together, but the 2 of them, they were as close as you could possibly be in these sports cars without making contact. And for Bill Cowley, has he been able to grab the lead? Not yet. He's still trying on the outside line after Chris Curve into the gooseneck, but Peter Bove is hanging on. Now Cowley to the inside, and Bove chops him off. There's a car off the road behind all over the grass. That's Mark Windley's DNC, which has rejoined the circuit, but the lead of the race, so it's still Bove with Cowley and Bartholomew right behind.
Here we go then, down in towards the bottom of the mountain. Cowley looking for a move around the outside in towards the entrance of the mountain, and he's got it done around the outside. Bill Cowley retakes the lead as they make their way up through the mountain. Then past the restaurant they go, and Peter Bove drops down to second place again as they head their way towards the last part of the circuit. Bill Cowley later on the brakes had the outside line, it gave him the inside line for the next corner, and he retakes the lead of this race as we now make our way through in towards the final corner, and he's able to pull out quite a lead as well ahead as he makes his way through. And more than that, David Bartholomew has got past the number 1 car of Peter Bove there, so he's managed to find his way through at the last part of the circuit. Mark Glover has Ian Barley right behind him as well as they make their way through in towards Coppice for the second time today.
Cowley is so quick through all bends, isn't he? He did this on the previous race as well when he got past Bove into the bottom of the chicane. So excellent stuff. We now can Bartholomew catch the lead, but that was 2 seconds at the start of the lap with Bartholomew, then Bove in third. 4th is Mark Glover, just ahead of Ian Barley. Mark Windley, despite that grassy moment at the gooseneck on the previous lap, is 6th. 7th for Steve Boover. Andrew Kemp is 8th. Richard Jenkins is 9th after his confusing start. And then Chris Goff completes the top 10. The leaders head downhill towards Mansfield. The top 3 much further apart than they were a lap ago. For 5th position, now we've got a nice battle. Ian Barley has the side-by-side action behind him as Steve Boover goes down the inside to pass Mark Windley for 6th position, and that's came off nicely.
Yeah, it sounds like it has indeed, as we see cars making their way now on towards the mountain. Someone diving up the inside there, trying to go side by side is the 42 car. That's Andrew Kemp, who went down the inside. It gives him the outside line for the next series of corners. Did he get the move done? Yes, he did. He moved himself ahead of Mark Windley then. So Andrew Kemp is on a little bit of a charge, a little bit of a run here, as he'll make his way through in towards the Hall Bends. Leaders making their way across the line then, and it is Bill Cowley leading David Bartholomew and Peter Bove rounding off the top three. Mark Glover in 4th place. I mean, there's some solace there that he's got Peter Bove ahead of him, but it won't help him in the championship battle. Meanwhile then, there's the number 7, Steve Boother, trying to apply the pressure now to Ian Barley, trying to get that position back, as we've got Dom there trying to go round the outside, going through in towards Compass there, as I think he's trying to battle away with Hugh Davis.
Okay, let's have a look at these battles then. For 5th position first, Ian Barley just had a Steve Boother, but Andrew Kemp, who's I think started the original race on the back of the grid. He's getting himself up ahead of Steve Boother then, and he's done that nicely. So Andrew Kemp going well here. He's the man behind Race Kits, who produced a lot of the kits then for the various Race Kits Falcons on the grid. But for the leader, Bill Cowley, the gap was still 2 seconds at the end of the 2nd lap of this shortened restart, and they head down back towards Kieran with a similar gap, I'd suggest, between Cowley and Bartholomew.
Yeah, and they make their way now in towards the mountain they go, and Bartholomew just making sure he keeps in touch with Bill Cowley at these closing stages there. Oh, there's a problem there for Peter Bove. He had his arm in the air and he's slowing down. At the top of the mountain he goes, and Peter Bove, that looks like it could be a race-ending problem for Peter Bove. I haven't seen him come through again, so he might have ducked into the assembly area as soon as he realised the problem, but that looks like the end of the day for Peter Bove.
So that's another championship leader in strife today, isn't it? Various different categories. We've seen problems for the championship leader, and now with 750 former and Peter Bove.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to promote Mark Glover up into 3rd place, and now, well, he's seen and passed Peter Bove now. This is Mark Glover's chance to see if he can score some serious points that might get him back into contention of that championship. And the leading gap has been halved, because David Bartholomew now just a second behind Bill Cowley at the start of the lap, and it's catching him as they go up Park Straight towards Park Corner. A battle for the lead then between Bill Cowley and David Bartholomew. Something we sort of looked forward to all day. We haven't really had much of it though, but now for the second half of the straight, there may be that. We've had another incident as Charlie Christopher had a yellow flag wave. Not sure if anyone else was involved in that. There's certainly no one else that stopped there. But Christoph, I think, is going to get back going. But for the lead of the race at Mansfield, Bartholomew now wins the leader, Bill Cowley. Bartholomew's car tends to be a bit quicker in a straight line. Bill Cowley's very quick through Hall Bend, but going up towards the mountain, they're going to be side by side, Kieran. They are side by side. Cowley's got the inside line, and they'll hold on to the lead of the race as they now ascend and climb the mountain, with Bartholomew chasing Cowley all the way. This is a good opportunity now for David Bartholomew to see if he can try to find his way past. And we haven't got long left of this race, about 3 minutes 40 on the clock, as the drivers now make their way through in towards the latter stages of the lap. We'll see them emerge out of barn very, very shortly. And Bill Cowley, will he still be in the lead as they emerge onto the start-finish straight? Yes, he will, but David Bartholomew is chasing him all the way, right on his tail now, and picking up that toe. Cowley tries to defend the inside line, but there goes Bartholomew, who takes the outside line, and he has the move done before the braking zone. David Bartholomew up into the lead of this race.
So can Bill Cowley fight back? I think he might need to do it immediately if he's going to be able to challenge. Let's see then through the second part of Charlie's. No, Bartholomew has it. He's not lots of downforce on that car, and it's very good aerodynamically. It cuts through the air well. It doesn't produce much drag, and therefore it's good in a straight line, and he's able to hang on after that move around the outside through Covent's corner. David Bartholomew then the leader ahead of Bill Cowley. Mark Glover is 3rd, Andrew Kemp is 4th, 5th is Steve Boother, 6th is Ian Barley, 7th is another moment through Charlie. This time Mark Windley, this time he gets away with it. Had a big slide. He looked like he was going to lose the control of the car, but he didn't. And he's held on to 7th ahead of Jake Doherty. But the lead of the race, Cowley's not giving up. He is fighting Bartholomew down into the left-hander there at Mansfield, and he's very much in the wheel track to the leading car still.
Yes, he is. as they now come into view of my commentary box window. Now they make their way the ascent up the mountain, and yeah, I wasn't expecting Bill Cowley to take that lying down. He will absolutely, that will spur him on, if you like, to try and get that position back as they make their way through in towards the latter stages of the lap. They'll be making their way through in towards the hairpin, and then they'll be making their way through in towards Barn very, very shortly, with David Bartholomew leading the way through in towards the final part of the lap. He re-emerges still in the lead. Bill Cowley will get a big toe as we make our way down the start-finish line, as we head our way towards Coppice, as there's Cowley looking to the inside, and he's got the move done on Bartholomew as they make their way through, but I think Bartholomew is going a little bit slower than I expected there as he made his way through Coppice.
Okay, I wouldn't have expected, Cowley to be able to do that, and that is because there's a problem, it would seem, with Bartholomew's car. Now, has it sold itself? Has he got back up to speed? Hard to tell, really, but the gap is big, so we had a nice little dive for a couple of laps, and now Bill Cowley back in front. Problems with David Bartholomew. Can he get home or not? We will see potentially another lap in at the end of this one. We're just coming up to that 10-minute point shortly, but Bill Cowley, the lead is his. I didn't think he'd be able to grab the lead that easily, but problems with David Bartholomew, unfortunately, and yeah, he is slowing some more, so Mark Glover might be able to get second position out of this yet, and Andrew Kemp from the back of the grid could be on for a podium, which would be a good performance in his race kits Falcon, but so far they're not past Bartholomew. It will be dependent on how quickly Bartholomew can go for the remainder of the race here.
Yeah, it's all about now trying to manage that. He knows there's not long left, but he knows that Bill Cowley's all the way up the road. The attempt now will be to try and hold on to second place, but there will be one more lap, I believe, as they make their way through in towards the back end of the lap. And it's a case now, if Mark Glover can make the move, that'll be, well, even better for his championship standings coming out of this one. He'll gain some serious points on Peter Bove. I'm expecting there Bill Cowley to emerge out of Barn momentarily as he'll make his way towards the start-finish line. And no, it's David Bartholomew that's come through. David Bartholomew starts the final lap in the lead, and Bill Cowley, what's going on? What is going on? I'm not entirely sure. Bill Cowley, I see green flags at the top of the mountain, and I think that is that's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Bill Cowley is out of this race and falling down the order. Mark Glover here could be on for a win, but can David Bartholomew hold on to and nurse the problem?
No, he's been passed already, but Andrew Kemp from the back of the grid has caught Mark Glover. I don't think he's won one of these races before, Andrew Kemp. Mark Glover hasn't won one for a while. They're side by side as they head up the Park Straight. So with Cowley and Bartholomew and Bone all having problems, a surprise winner, and could the surprise winner be Andrew Kemp? I'm pretty sure he's never won a 750 Formula race, which if that's the case, it's a real remarkable effort, and Andrew Kemp has gone through. He's taken the lead. He's ahead of Mark Glover as they turn their way then down through the gooseneck for the final time, and from the back of the grid pretty much, I think, Andrew Kemp leads the way remarkably. In second position now is Mark Glover. In third position is Steve Boover, who's on for potentially a first podium in the category. So this is going to be a strange looking result, but possibly a first time winner in 750 Formula, Kieran.
Well, here they go then. They're making their way through the final few corners. Andrew Kemp leads the way ahead of Mark Glover as they'll make their way towards the back end of the circuit. I do see Andrew Kemp passing his way through in towards the hall bends, and then making his way towards the hairpin. Well, who's going to emerge out of Barn? We've had the last couple of laps a different leader than we've expected, but who will emerge out of the final corner? Will it be Andrew Kemp making his way towards the line? It will be Andrew Kemp, who wins in dramatic circumstances, crosses the line to take the victory here with Mark Glover, yes, in second place. I think Andrew Kemp came across the line. I don't think he's realised he's won this race at the moment, but Mark Glover in second place, Steve Booth across the line in third, and that's Ian Barley across the line in fourth place, as we see limping home the number 17, David Bartholomew, comes home in 8th place. He was losing, he lost about 20 seconds, he lost even more, 30 seconds, sorry, he lost 50 seconds over 2 laps. did David Bartholomew, and managed to limp it home in 8th place. That meant that Jake Doherty goes up to 5th place, Mark Whitley in 6th, Hugh Davis in 7th place there, with David Bartholomew finishing in 8th, Richard Jenkins in 9th, and Simon Volter has come across the line to round off the top 10. Well, those final 3 laps, Josh, how dramatic. And I honestly think Andrew Kemp doesn't realise he's won this race. He's the race winner.
Yeah, absolutely bizarre, really, wasn't it? I think we had 4 leaders then in the last couple of laps, because we had Bartholomew, Cowley, Glover and Kemp. And early on in the early stages of the race, Peter Bowe was the leader as well. So 5 different leaders in the race. I don't think that's happened lately in 750 Formula. And I don't think it's been some time since we've had a new winner in the category as well. And I'm pretty sure Andrew Kemp will be classed as a new winner. So I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And his day started off so badly in qualifying this morning, getting into some trouble. So Side had to start on the back of the grid, but he's persevered and he's come away with a race victory, remarkably. Mark Glover, it's another podium, but with Drama Swiss Championship contenders, it's good points, but it could have been a win. That's the problem for Mark Glover. And then Steve Boover on the podium as well. So a very different looking result to what we expected, but certainly a dramatic conclusion to that race.
Definitely one of the most dramatic conclusions to a race I've ever seen, with 4 different race leaders at some point in the last few laps. I have seen as well Martin Depper cross the line there in a 6-sounding machine, and he's pulled off to the right hand side just where the loop is, so there will be that car to recover then, as Depper will have to have his Centaur Mach 16 recovered to there.